Yeah, I got one.
Hair jig.
Yep. Hair jigs and Winter River smallmouth. Great combination. This is what they look like before they go in the water. After they're in the water, they kind of come out looking like a wet rat. But that one looked good to this one. Nice 18-inch Susquehanna River smallmouth. Hitting mid 30-degree water. It's the middle of January, and out here in my garage, freezing my tail off, pouring some jig heads to make some hair jigs. Be out fishing this weekend, and I wanted to show you guys how to make some hair jigs, which is a great winter bait. And I wanted to share with you actually how we make the Confidence Baits Alan's hair jig. Alan, one of our pro staffers, ties this very simple pattern that's usually the more simple patterns are the most effective ones. The Do-It mold that's the closest to the head that we use for our jig heads for Alan's hair jig is the tip-up jig. We actually use a smaller size than what's on here, but it's a very similar size. What we have is actually kind of halfway between the tip-up jig and the worm nose jig, both of which are really great Do-It molds. So we'll start by pouring our heads. That right there is an Owner 5318, very fine wire hook, which is great for fishing them in the winter. As soon as those fish pick it up, they're hooked. Okay, I'm moving inside where it's a little bit warmer. Got a bunch of jig heads poured up with the this one's the worm nose weight, and I got the 3/32 ounce one and some of the 1/8. Got that and a bunch of, and I used to cut it myself, but this is rabbit hide that's already pre-stripped. I think I'm gonna play around a little bit with, this is a bucktail, and I dyed them. I just used Rick clothing dye and boiled them in it and made some pretty interesting colors. Rick clothing dye is a lot of fun to play around with, and I think the actual cooking it with that dye is what really gets that color to stay. And I got a little bit of fox here. This is a Arctic foxtail, so I'm going to play around a little bit with that. But the first one I'm going to do is just our most basic, and really what's over the years been my most productive tie, which is just a short segment of that rabbit strip tied right on the shank, and a little bit of chenille. The chenille is something that is really just there to bulk up the collar area a little bit, and also provides a place for me to apply scent. Basically, it's like a scent sponge. I can put my smelly jelly or Mega Strike or Bio Edge or whatever scent you want to apply, and it's a good place for it. One note when you're applying scent to any hair jig is that you want to keep it away from the hair. With some of my hair jigs, like Alan's hair jig that we sell on the Confidence Baits store, we put chenille right on the collar, right in there, and that's so I can apply scent to it without putting it on the actual hair. If you put it in the hair, it'll ruin the action of a hair jig.